Okay, this is just to get an orientation of kind of where we are. This is the warehouse, the parking lot. Okay, there's the where the drainage sometimes stops. It has to go way into those pipes over there, and it has to travel through the small culvert to get there. Lots of times that's the problem right there, with that grass is messed up. This way so that we can get oriented and all be on the same page. This is the logistics building, and then this is the trench next to it. They've come across sort of a large boulder, but they've been able to use the rock crusher to get rid of a lot of the rock itself, and it looks like they've basically chipped it completely away. So this is sort of a good look at what the trench is looking like. Right down here is where the massive rock was. And it's right about that location there. So it's very large. They had quite a difficult time breaking it apart, but they were able to do that. As you can see, sort of from this angle, there's along either side of the trench, you see the pipes are already coming out, the drains that are on the side of the building. That's okay. They're going to dump obviously into the trench, and then the water will hold it. And down right about where the excavator is there, on the other side of the sidewalk, is where some of the problems rest. The other location is on the other side, and they're doing some rock chipping on that. In this particular spot, they ran into what looked like a transformer pad. It's a pretty thick slab of concrete, and it was too much for the excavator to handle, so they got the bigger gear in here right now. So just to kind of get a look at what was there and how this trench looks. This is obviously the side of the aerospace building. This whole back side, they've already got the pipes run down that would come into this trench that's going to run parallel to the building. However, there may be some issues with that area. This is the concrete and the trench that they've got, and you can see that it was a sizable chunk of reinforced concrete, and so a little difficult to get out of there, but they've got it broken apart, and then I'm sure they're going to just remove that rock. So here's the trench, and it looks pretty clean. Everything looks like no problem, not really running into any infrastructure issues or any problems here. Now, because of the issues with the trench that is going to run parallel to the building long ways here, pointing straight in front of us basically, this is where there's a lot of infrastructure, and we're starting to run into some of those things. I'll show you in just a second in the video. But one of the alternatives that we've discussed is in this area right here. Okay, you can see the ambulance bay, there's the trench, and the new trench was supposed to run basically right here going that way. One of the things that Hector thought might work is to, in this area that I'm looking at right now, basically dig out a large, basically holding area that would be the same cubic volume that we would be trenching out along the back end of the building, and simply direct the water from the gutters into a 10-inch pipe that would eventually land in a 10-foot deep by like whatever size that he figured out it would have to be around. Obviously the same methods would be used. It would be filled with the rock and the aggregate, and then topped with whatever. Okay, I'm not sure that that would hold all of the volume, but as an alternative, I think that this will work. If we did a hole here, I'm pretty certain that there's very little stuff underneath this area. There may be an electrical line or something going to these bollards that are right there, but everything else should be fairly clear. The thing that we thought of is that these 3 gutters, that the one to the right, center, and now to the left, would all be connected and then run into that holding area that would be right here next to this trench on the side of aerospace. The other gutters would be directed into a pipe as well, 10 inches, and they would come down basically into the same setup, and somewhere here in the middle direct that pipe into this area that's in the center. It's already a center cutout. I'm confident that there's very little buried under here, because when they came and did the survey, this area was pretty clear. Now there is some cable TV coming down the left side about where the pickup truck is right now, but I know that we would miss that and simply put the big holding area right here in the center. Again, that would allow these gutters on the back side, you can see the pavilion to the right, to be funneled into a pipe that would then come this way right into what would then be the holding area here up against the drive. Now, if we planned and worked that correctly, even if the thing had some spillover, it would simply spill over into the driveway, and then of course the water would end up naturally going down into the gutter that's all the way on the other side of the building adjacent to that truck. Some of the problem areas thus far are, like I said, we ran into that enormous boulder that they've already gotten over. But in this area right here, you can see the side door going into the logistics there. This is the back of the building. And right along this area where I'm walking is where you can see the lines. Okay, this is where there's a water main, a sewer main, and some others. I get down right here and you can see that there's actually a clean out right there, and it was buried under the ground. We've come across some other things, but that clean out being right there doesn't make me feel very comfortable with digging anywhere around or near this area for fear of breaking that sewer. And I'm also fairly confident that there's a water main that runs parallel to the sewer line. Now on the other side, you see that they've gotten this pulled out a little bit. First thing is over here, this concrete that you can see, that is a hand hole for the electrical. It's coming from the main building over here. That's where the electrical room is, just on the other side of that wall, and then goes into this hand hole and runs all the way down the building down to the end, to the hand hole right there. Okay, so we've got basically a large amount of electrical going underneath there. That's a potential problem because it's just right next to where we're trenching. Also, you can see that there's at least 4 exposed conduit here. A couple of 2-inch and a 1-inch, a 1.5. But you can see that they're there, and we feel that those either have phone or comm inside of them. Probably not very good. There's just above that drain that's coming from this gutter, sticking out of the ground right there, you can see it's a grounding rod. That thing is buried, and it obviously got hit. I don't know what connects to it, but it's probably part of the lightning protection system. Could have also been part of the old building, because this is where the old building used to sit. So this is the other side of the view, looking down on the trench that's already complete along the logistics side of the building. Clearly it's almost finished. They've gotten most of the material excavated, and it's reasonably clear. Obviously you can see the pipes going in, and they've got it trenched out to probably really close to 10 feet. But that's essentially what we're looking at here. So this side is complete. It looks like it'll be soon ready to have the fill placed in. And then that should solve at least the side of the building coming off of the logistics portion. So this is the logistics side of the building, and then again, here's the back. It's where the other trench that runs alongside the building is supposed to go. And there you can see all the way over to the aerospace side where they're digging out the rest of the material out of that hole that had the concrete pad. So we're looking at potentially taking these gutters, this one, and maybe those 2, just in the center of the screen, into a pipe, possibly running it into that center island inside that sidewalk, and making a pit for that water to dump into there. We can probably easily get the same amount of volume if we split the load between this pit and the pit where the dump truck is right now. Obviously the one where the dump truck is right now would accommodate the other 3 gutters that are on this side of the building and anything that would be coming off of the aerospace side. So hopefully this gives a clear view of what we're trying to do, or what we think might work. And if you have questions, obviously you know where to call me. Okay, that'll do it for this one. Thank you.